All right, hang on a minute, guys. I'm just getting everything situated. How you doing? Old guy, I'm doing good. Better than I deserve, not as well as I'd like, but I can't complain. I'm pulling this up on the laptop so that way I can see the comments better. All right, just about ready. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure out how to do that where it's horizontal. It looks like it's working right now, so. But it's not coming up on. Thank you, Christopher. I appreciate that. I'm still trying to get this pulled up so I can read the comments. So, for whatever reason, it's not showing up. I don't even know. This seems to happen quite a bit where I can't see it. It doesn't even show me live on my computer. But it says there's two people in, so I'm assuming that it's live. I don't have a topic, Levi. I'm trying to get this pulled up, and then where I can see the. Oh, there it is. Finally, where I can see the comments. Yep, showing nine live. You're live. Right side up. All right, cool. All right, now I can read the comments. Yeah, I don't have a topic. Just recently I've had a few people in the comments tell me I should do a live, so I figured I would just do a live and let you guys pick out the topics. Here, I'll do this, see if I can get them in there a little bit better. But no, just been like everybody else, working. hanging out and doing my thing. Next weekend, I'm going to take my grandkid or my grandson fishing. I've been promising him I would do that. So, other than that, just kind of hanging out. Been debating on whether or not I want to pay the extortion fee and SBR that Rossi R92 into a mare's leg. Um, Pretty much that's it. I haven't really been doing a whole lot. The last few videos have just been from the comments that people were asking questions about older videos, and so I just did newer videos to answer the comments. Um, there's been a lot of comments on the drilling and the Cape guns. They're called combination guns for people that don't know. I'm thinking I'm probably going to do a video on them here maybe this weekend. Uh, Stephen, man, I've been in two head-on motorcycle wrecks some cars and stuff. So yeah, I'm amazed I'm alive too. Levi, fair enough. I have a question. How do you carry ammo for lever action rifles? Um, my lever action rifles, for the most part, other than I have a 30-30, but all the rest of my lever actions are in 45 Colt. So I just carry them on my cartridge belt with my revolvers. That way I can shoot the same ammo into pistols as I do the rifle. When I deer hunted with lever action, then usually I would just, most lever actions hold 5 or 6, and I would throw an extra 5 or 6 in my pocket. That's just how I did it. But as far as when you see me in the videos with the Rossi R92 mare's leg, I just use the cartridges that are on the cartridge belt, or sometimes if I want to do it quick, like when I was doing the Spincock and Henry Mare's leg video, I stuck some extra ammo in my shirt pocket up here. But other than that, I mean, I try and stick to. I know a lot of people like to have a lot of different calibers. I, for all my cowboy guns, I try to stay 45 Colt. That way, the lever actions and the revolvers all use the same cartridge. I do have a 44 mag single action. I have a 38 special single, but the majority of them are 45 Colt. I haven't seen any other than that post you did, Stephen. I haven't seen anything come up on you. And then were some good looking fish you caught. So let's see who all's in here. So that all right, Stephen, how you doing, buddy? Guns and Water, Old One Guy, Christopher, Jason, Levi, Benjamin, and let's see if there's anybody else. Looks like that's it. So I appreciate you guys coming on. Like I said, I haven't really been doing much for gun projects. Hey, Ronald, how you doing? Just because of the fact that, like everything, guns are so expensive right now, and then like to rebuild them costs money and that, and everybody else, like everybody else, it's just bad time of the year. Plus, I had to work on the truck. I got to fix the roof on my shop, but Rogues Gallery all here. Yeah, Christopher, I just, when I hunted with a double barrel shotgun, you know, I'd stick them in my pockets, the shells, when I went out rabbit hunting or pheasant hunting or whatever. And I usually just carried, on my double barrel, 2 in a chamber and maybe 6 in each pocket, front pocket of my coat, and that was it. But like I said, I'm debating on whether to mares like that R92. If it wasn't the fact that it's not the $200 that bothers me, it's the fact that they extorted out pay it or you can't do it. And that just bothers me. I hate the idea of giving them $200 to ask for permission. You know, I flip flopped and said I wasn't going to do it, and I said I was, and I still don't know if I'm going to do it. But lately, I've been really thinking hard about going that route and doing it. Um, but yeah, other than that, I've been working on that boat a little bit and trying to spend some time with the grandkids. Um, my little 5 year old grandson, for whatever reason, he seems to really like me, and he's been begging me for a month now to take him fishing. So next weekend I'm going to take him fishing. I might do some video on that. If I do, um, blur his face out and that, just because I don't like the idea of putting my grandkids or stuff like that online. Yeah, the boat's going to need a name. Maybe I'll put a post up later or something and let you guys come up with a name. I'll just ask for suggestions and then I'll pick out the best one, or I'll pick out three to poll and let you guys vote on what the name's going to be. I don't know. We'll figure out some way to make it fun. This channel for me, I mean, there's like lately I've been posting a lot of videos, but that's just been because a lot of people are asking, in comments about different things and that. But this channel for me, if you notice, there's not a lot of ads. There's usually ads at the very beginning and ads at the very end if I monetize them. This isn't a business for me. I'm not trying to get rich or retire or anything else. A little tiny bit of pennies that I make from YouTube, I just put it back into the channel for like ammo and stuff like that. Yeah, I've got so I'm the same way, Christopher. I got so many cool guns now that other than Ruger Alaskan and 454. Hey, Hillbilly, how you doing? Um, I just can't. USS Spalding. I'll put that on the list. Um, I just can't think of anything right now other than a Ruger Alaska 54 Casull that just like, man, I really want that. And them are expensive, and I don't live in bear country or nothing else. I mean, it's hard for me to drop that kind of money right now um, on a Ruger Alaskan 454 Casull. But what I was saying is this channel for me is just a hobby. So if you don't see a video for like a week or even 2 weeks, it's just because I didn't put anything out. I'm not trying to, I just do videos when I want to. It's just a hobby for me. I just trying to, mainly I do this is so that when I'm long dead and gone, my great grandkids and great great grandkids and that, instead of just seeing a picture of me like I see my great grandfather or my great great grandfather in pictures, and I hear stories about them, uh, they'll be able to hopefully go back and see these videos and see what what I sounded like or what I was really into and all that kind of stuff. So for me, this is just basically it's just a hobby. Well, I shoot most of what I own, Christopher. I don't. Um, I mean, I got guns that'll sit in the safe for a year before I pull them out, like the elephant guns. I don't shoot them a lot because they're so expensive to shoot, but I do occasionally pull them out and shoot them. I try and shoot everything here and there. Yeah, I haven't really been dropping a lot of money. I mean, I bought that boat to take my go fishing with my son and take my grandkids fishing in. Um, I bought my son a fly rod because he didn't have one. But I haven't really been spending a lot of money lately. I'm going to retire in 10 years and I'm going to um, go to Kentucky for the winters. So I'm trying to, I've got a little bit of money saved up, but I want to buy either some property down there or a house down there where, because the wintertime, when we had that up here in Michigan, we had negative temperatures for 2 weeks. And I'm getting older. My knees are shot from climbing telephone poles for so many years. I mean, I've been doing that for 33 years that I'm just looking to go somewhere where it's a little bit warmer and still be close enough where I can come home and see the grandkids and that. Winchester EXP. If that's what I think it is, that's a steal for $300. But so, like I said, right now I'm just basically just kind of, if you guys got to, ask a bunch of questions in the comments, then I do a video. Or, you know, I did the AK video recently just because I was in the AK mood. Video didn't get a lot of views, but like I said, I'm not doing this to. The views don't matter to me. This is just for me is kind of for fun, and I just do what I want. I love every kind of gun. I mean, I've got AKs, I've got ARs, I've got Beretta 92 clones, I've got 1911s. My favorites are the cowboy guns. As far as, yeah, my favorites are the cowboy guns, and then next are the elephant guns and the combination guns and all that stuff. Eastern Kentucky, yeah, I got a lot of family down close to Hazard, so I believe that's Eastern Kentucky too. I haven't been down there since I was a kid, but I'm gonna get back down there. But so I like I said, I kind of do. I'm kind of ADHD on guns. I go through spurts where I want to shoot my cowboy guns and I want to shoot my modern guns, and so I just when I do videos, I just do whatever I'm in the mood for. A lot of my family moved up here and to get jobs at Fords and stuff like that. Um, and then they moved back down south when they retired, or they've passed on by now. But I've got an aunt and a cousin, and I'm pretty sure there's some other family members down around that area, um, Somerset and Louisville and stuff like that. So, and the temperature down there is quite a bit more mild than what it is up here for the most part. So I'm just like, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to is 10 more years being able to get down there. And there's good hunting and fishing in Kentucky, so I'm really looking forward to that. But do you guys got any questions? If you do, let me know. Or if there's a video you want me to do, tell me and I'll see what I can do. If I can do the video, I'll do it. I'm thinking though, if I do go ahead and pay the extortion fee and I SBR the Rossi into a mare's leg, I'm going to try to um, video it as much as I can without violating the guidelines and either make a video from start to finish or maybe a series as I go along with it. Yeah, I've seen a couple of videos where guys pulled both triggers on an elephant gun, and I mean, although the recoil's not that bad on my, even my 450 Nitro Express, there's no way in hell I'd want to pull both triggers at the same time on an elephant gun. Uh, Not me. I will do that, Christopher. I'm going to hopefully get down there and see my aunt sometime this summer. Yeah, everything's more laid back, or it used to be. I don't know about now. It's been a lot of years since I've been down there, but it seems laid back and that slower paced. Yeah, I'm not. I'm always thinking or trying to think ahead. Um, you know, um, it would be nice to have some property down there with a pond on it and some areas to hunt where my grandkids could go even after I'm done, long gone, where they could have a hunting camp or something down there. I don't know. Like I said, just thoughts that go through my head. But is there any? I mean, I don't know any videos you guys would like to see. Like I said, this was more of a just some people asked me to do a live, so I didn't have anything in mind. Well, Levi, I appreciate that. That's kind of you to tell me you bought the single action and the J frame because of me. Um, the J frame, absolutely carry it. You're not going to ruin it. I mean, a carry gun's going to get scratched up. It's going to get skinned up. I mean, there's just not much you can do about that. But I mean, as much as I prefer blued guns for looks wise, most of my carry guns are stainless steel because they just don't. They can take the wear and tear of daily carry better. Um, I don't daily carry a Peacemaker or one of my single actions, but I do throw one in the center console of my truck quite a bit, and just because I really like single actions. I mean, I don't know why. I guess I grew up watching old westerns, so a lot of times, like you'll see that 1860 Army 45 Colt conversion, and that I would say 75% of the time is in the center console there between the two seats in my pickup. Yeah, you got a deal, Plowboy. We'll try that. I haven't had any of that in many, many years. Yeah, that Remington, I call it the Remington Auto 8. That's been done for probably close to a year. There's a couple of videos of me shooting that. Um, I did have to do a little bit of work on it. I might pull that out and do another video on it this weekend. Yeah, everybody, if you didn't see, say hi to Plowboy because I would say at least 75% of the guns in my gun collection I bought because of Plowboy videos. So go watch him. And then when you buy a gun, you can do like I do. I blame it on Plowboy when my wife asks, well, why did you buy that? I say, hey, Plowboy made me do it. Although I don't think she believes me that Plowboy made me do it. She's known me. We've been together for almost 26 years now. So yeah, I don't know. I think I did a couple shorts with it. I don't know if I did a long video of me shooting it or not. I can't remember now, but I think it's I don't know. You'd have to go through the videos, but yeah, that I would show you, but unfortunately, if I show you a gun on live, um, they'll take the video down. I don't, Stan. I don't have any experience with 45 Schofield. 45 special. If that's the 45 Cowboy special you're talking about, that's basically like a 45 ACP length 45 Colt cartridge with a rim. I actually like that for when matter of fact, there's some videos of me doing a triple shot with live ammo. Um, I used Cowboy Special for that. Yeah, you don't get paid by any of us, but you take a lot of blame, Plowboy. But the 45 Cowboy Special, it's a low recoiling, really fun round to shoot. I mean, it's basically just a rimmed 45 ACP from what I know. And I bought 200 of them. And when I first started doing the triple shot videos, I was using the 45 Cowboy Special. And then the last few triple shots I did with live ammo were 45 Colt that I loaded down to the 45 Colt um, Cowboy Special, 750, 800 feet per second. Hey, Vinny, how you doing, buddy? I hope everything's going good up in Canada. I know they've been screwing with your guys' gun rates for a while now, but hopefully things will get better here after the next election. I think you guys got an election coming up here pretty soon. But yeah, as far as 45 um, Cowboy Special, I mean, you can load a 45 Colt down to the same level safely, so I'm not going to go out and buy any more of it. Actually, I gave the brass away. Um, Now, the 45 Schofield, I don't have any um, experience with. I don't know. Plowboy may have experience with the 45 Schofield. If you do, Plowboy, throw something in the comments and let Stan know what you thought of the 45 Schofield round. If not, get a hold of Garrett on 11 Bang Bang or Snapper's Antique Firearms and Unlimited, or I think that's what it is. He used to just be Snappers, um, but I know them guys are experienced with the 45 Schofield. Yeah, Plowboy doesn't have any experience with that. I was always a 44 Special guy back years ago and 44 Mag. And Plowboy actually turned me on to the 45 Colt, and it ended up becoming my favorite round. When I was a kid, I had buddies that had beagles, and we used to use them for rabbit hunting, and coon hunting. But I've had one dog that for hunting rabbits and birds. I never, other than that, I haven't really had any hunting dogs because dogs never wanted to hunt. They always wanted to play with the kids and get fed treats. So, and plus, when I was young, even into my 20s, I'm 52 now, but even into my teenage years, into my early 20s, I could go out to Chelsea, Michigan, and walk the state land, just me and a buddy, and I mean we there was so many pheasants back then. We limited it out. Go home and go back out the next day and limit out again. I I would do a video on how I take care of my leather goods, but it'd be a short video because I'm not very good about doing that. Um, Basically, once in a while, I take some saddle soap and I wipe them down in that, and then I just take a real thin coat of neat's foot oil and put on them, and that's how I take care of my leather stuff. Yeah, yeah, Plowboy loves that 10 millimeter, especially for bear hunting. Glad I'm in Michigan. I might get punched in the mouth for saying that one. Anything else that anything else you guys are interested in knowing? Are you guys interested in another combination gun video? The drilling and the cape guns and that. Uh, if you guys are interested, I'll do one. I just noticed that when you do videos on YouTube, every week you get a weekly recap of what your top three videos that were watched were. And for the last 3 weeks, my drilling and combination gun videos have been either first or the second most watched videos for the last 3 weeks. So, I mean, them are starting to get some views. So if you guys are interested in seeing them videos, I'll redo them, try and do some actual research. That's the thing. Like 11 Bang Bang, them guys know history and stuff like that, and so they can tell you all the history. Um, Plowboy knows a lot of history in that. I'm just a guy that I grew up liking guns. If I seen something I liked, I tried to get one. A lot of times I had to buy old guns that needed work because We didn't have a lot of money when I was growing up, so I ended up learning how to work on guns. And I mean, my drilling, my cape guns, had them not been in really bad shape or something wrong with them, I would have never really been able to afford them. Them are usually really expensive guns. I just bought the ones that nobody wanted because they needed too much work and then fixed them up. Same thing like elephant guns, them double barrel rifles. You're looking at, you know, the cheapest I think I've ever seen one was $8,000. So, and that was the cheapest one. So I'm like, I couldn't afford, I just couldn't justify that. I couldn't afford that with having a family. So I started building them. And that's how I got into building guns and fixing guns. And that was just a matter of growing up with not a lot of money. But I wanted the things that I wanted. So I bought the ones nobody else wanted and fixed them up. Slant six guy. I've got a Rossi R92 and 45 Colt with a 20-inch barrel, and that gun is just it runs and runs and runs, and it's pretty accurate for what it is. I mean, it's 45 Colt. It's not a 7 millimeter mag or a 300 mag. It's not known for shooting 3, 4, 500 yards, but I love my Rossi R92. I bought mine because of Plowboy did a review on his Rossi R92, and he's got the 16-inch barrel with the big loop lever, and I just thought that thing looked so good that I threw a bid on Gunbroker on mine, and I won that thing so stupid cheap that it wasn't even funny. I couldn't pass it up. And then, but mine didn't have the big loop lever, so I bought the big loop lever and put it on there. Hey, Musket Merv, how you doing? Well, Vinny, I hope you do a video on that. I would like to see that because I've always liked them old Winchester 1897s. Or oh, that says Cimarron. I'm not sure unless that's a copy of the Winchester, but I will definitely try and keep a watch out for the video. If you guys haven't never seen Vinny the Pooh, he's got a pretty cool little channel. He's a small guy like me, and but unfortunately they're really jerking him around up in Canada. They're trying to take away any kind of gun rights they have up there. But if you get a chance and check out his videos, he's got some pretty cool old guns. Hey, it's DB Cooper. Every time I see that name, I'm like, I love that name. I mean, I grew up hearing the story, the DB Cooper story. There's some really good names out there. Like I never met a gun I didn't like. I'm like, man, wish I could have come up with that name before him. I've actually thought about changing the name on this channel. Um, Back a few years ago when I very first started my first channel, it was A American, like A American or another American. Um, and it was a gun channel, and then I let it get political, and the channel blew up, and it was great that it went from like 500 subscribers to 20,000 in like 12 hours. But it was people that they wanted the politics and stuff, and I can't do politics all the time. I can't do drama all the time. It just drives me nuts. And so when YouTube took the channel down and I started over, well, actually, there's an author named A American, so I had to change it to AR American. But when I had to start over, I was figured, well, I'm going to just keep it AR American. But I don't really think the name fits the channel because when people see it AR, they think it's an AR channel, mostly ARs. And although I do have some AR videos, I just do a lot of guns. Yeah, unfortunately, Musket Merv, I was hoping I was wrong about Bondi, but yeah, it's I mean, it is what it is. I'm really disappointed in Cash Patel and Dan Bongino, to be honest with you. I just, they're not even coming close to living up to their expectation or the expectations that they put out there for us. So, yeah, I really like the name A American, but like I said, there was an author with that, and I just didn't want to ride on his name. Um, he was really cool. I actually ran into him on Twitter, and he explained that name A American, because of him being an author and that, was actually trademarked. And he said, "Don't worry about changing or nothing. It's just if my legal people may come at you and tell you got to change the name." I'm like, "Look, man, I ain't trying to ride on your name or nothing." So I just changed it willingly. It wasn't like he threatened me or nothing else. The guy was actually really, really cool. Yeah, it was a good channel, but it got to the point, honestly, Guns and Water, that following politics all the time, it just it makes me angry. That's why I started a second channel, a Pissed Off American. When I really feel the need to talk about politics, I do it on there. But I don't want to be pissed off all the time and aggravated all the time and frustrated all the time. And following politics does that to me. It's just like, it sucks. So I just don't. Holy crap! Everything Black Powder is in here. Plowboy's in here. Man, we got the legends in here. It's good to see everything Black Powder. Arizona Kids in here. Wow, that's crazy, man. Um, if I'm sure everybody knows who everything Black Powder is, but if you don't, check them out. Um, really good channel. I would give Cash and Bongino some time too, but I mean, evidence is out there, has been out there. Doge exposed all kinds of corruption in that, in the fact that nobody's getting indicted. I don't care about these. We need to deport illegals, but they'll put one or two out a week. Well, we got this one or we got that one, and it's just a distraction from all the corrupt politicians that were stealing from our Social Security money, that were embezzling money through USAID and all that. They want you to focus on other stuff, not the corrupt politicians. And until they start arresting the corrupt politicians, nothing's going to change. And I don't hear Cash or Dan Bongino, either one, talking about Warren and the money that she stole, or Stacey Abrams, or any of them. So it's just, I kind of just stopped watching politics. I can't do it because it's just frustrating and aggravating. Yeah, Christopher. I mean, if you watch the original channel back in the day before they took it down, um, I mean, I have some videos where I was just going off, cussing like a drunken sailor and that. And my grandkids, they watch this channel. So on this channel, I try to be very careful about cussing and stuff like that. Um, I just, my grandkids put me on a pedestal, and I'm Papa, and they love me. And the last thing I want to do is be a bad influence on my grandkids. Yeah, watching politics, it'll make your blood pressure go up. That's for sure. But so are you guys interested in another combination gun? The drillings and the Cape gun video, or is there something else you want to see? I just noticed, like I said, that's been getting a lot of views, and I've been getting a few questions here and there on it. So you have a good night, Arizona Kid. The Taurus Judge. I have never shot one. I've actually thought about buying one. Um, I don't know if I would ever use it for self defense because with that long cylinder, um, that 45 Colt is traveling probably a good inch and a half, I would guess, before it's ever hitting any rifling. And thank you, Everything Black Powder. I think I'm going to do one on them here pretty soon, maybe this weekend. But I just don't see how it could be that. I haven't, like I said, I haven't shot one. Um, but what I do think that the Taurus Judge would be really good for is with either some bird shot or buckshot as a snake gun. If you like down in Kentucky or in Kansas where 11 Bang Bang is, I don't know if you know Garrett from 11 Bang Bang, but his brother got bit by a rattlesnake down there and almost lost his hand. So, as a snake gun, I think that the Taurus Judge would be great. You know, as a self defense gun, I don't know how accurate that gun is with, like I said, that long cylinder and all that free space before it hits rifling. And then with that super short barrel, I just don't know what kind of velocity you'd get out of buckshot in that. Um, if I found one cheap enough, I would buy it just to do some testing and see just how good it is. But I can't imagine that the 410 is going to have any kind of accuracy at all because 410 is, 0.410 and 45 Colt is anywhere from 0.451 to 0.454. That's a lot of difference. I don't know. It's not like 357 Magnum and 38 where you just have a little short distance where the bullet comes out and catches the rifling on them judges and that. You got a long distance. And then the calibers are so different. 38 and 357 Mag, the bullets are the same diameter. 410 and 45 Colt aren't. So, like I said, I just don't know on that judging that. If I found one cheap enough, though, I would definitely buy it just to do some testing and some videos on it. Yeah, 12 gauge shotgun would work too with a pistol grip, but you know, with a Taurus Judge for a snake gun, you could stick it in a holster and keep both your hands free. And I know with a shotgun you could put it on a sling, but if you're working on stuff, it's going to be sliding around from your back up underneath and banging on the stuff, or if you're hanging it from the front, it's going to be banging on the stuff. Uh, That's where I think is if you're just riding around on a horse or walking trails or whatever, yeah, a shotgun would be perfect for a snake gun. But if you're actually working and using your hands in that and busy, it's a lot easier to keep a pistol out of the way. And it, like I said, I think that's where the Taurus, 45 Colt 410 Judge or Public Defenders, I think that's probably where they would really shine is when you're out in the woods or when you're working and you just come up real close on venomous snakes and stuff. And like I said, this is just personal experience or personal opinion. I have absolutely no experience with that gun, but it's just the way my mind's thinking that's makes sense to me. It may be a way better gun than I think in my mind. I don't know. Yeah, thanks, Jason. It just to me it just makes sense. I mean, I carry usually a truck gun in my truck around all the time. But like when I'm working, if I'm climbing up telephone poles, Matt, trying to hang any kind of long gun on my chest, it's going to be in the way. If it's on my back, every time I'm reaching out to work on something, it's going to be swinging around and moving. And so it just, a handgun to me, if you're just in, for basic self protection against two legged threats, four legged threats, or threats that slither on the ground, up close and personal, a handgun is the way to go. Yeah, I have shot the 45 410 Derringers, and you know, at 10 feet away in a self-defense situation, I mean, it would work. I don't think it's optimal, but the one that I shot, same thing. The grip was really small. It was hard to get a good hold on it. And like you said, the trigger pull was so ungodly heavy on them Derringers that it's just, it wasn't for me. I'm not saying it was a bad gun or nothing. It just wasn't for me. I figured I was better off with one of my J frames or my Charter Arms Bulldog 44 special. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Steven, but and I've got a 410 double that as a kid, it was my grandfather's gun. We shot 45 cold in it. And thinking back on it now, um, I'm surprised we didn't hurt the gun or damage the barrels. I mean, you're trying to push a 451, 452 bullet down a 410 caliber barrel. I don't know. If I was going to do that, I think I would use, if I was going to do that, make a rifle out of a 410, I would use like Marlin 444 brass and neck it to 41 caliber. And I mean, but it's a smooth bore. I don't remember what the results were on your video, but if I'm going to build a double barrel rifle, I want rifling on it. And like I said, I don't know. I think about all the times we shot 45 cold out of my grandfather's old 410 double barrel as kids, and I'm not gonna do that as I've gotten older and understand more about how guns work. Entrenching tools are good for snakes, but you want to hear a grown man scream like a girl, let me walk up on a snake. I'm taking the gun. I don't even want to get that close to him if I can help it. Oh, yeah, I understand that the heavy trigger was part of the design. It's just, I don't know. I mean, you don't have no trigger guard on it or nothing, but it's a cool little gun. But them Bond Derringers and that, but it's just not. There's a lot of other guns I want way more. I guess if I ran across a good enough deal on one, it'd be cool just to have it, shoot it once in a while. But it's not on a list of things that are a must for me. Congratulations on getting a turkey with it. So everything black powder, he's a good guy. He's done a couple videos on questions that I've done. Like he did as much as he does not like the um, synthetic black powders, I guess you'd call them. He actually did a video on 777 because I asked. I don't have a chronograph, and so yeah, I think I'm gonna hopefully this weekend I'm gonna do a video on the Cape guns. You know what? I'm going to do it next weekend because I'm going to take a week to actually do some research on my two Cape guns and on my drilling. And it's hard to find out information on them, but I'm going to get as much information as I can. I'm going to write it down so that I don't have to try and remember it off of memory and actually try and give you guys a real good video because most of the time when I do videos, it's just my thoughts or my opinions. But I'm going to try to do a really good video on the drilling and the Cape guns with historical type information and information about the builders that built them so that it's a really good video. Yeah, heathen powders is what everything black powder calls them. But you know what, man? I do. Jake, I appreciate you doing that video because I really wanted to know. I knew that 777 was a little bit hotter than like regular black powder, and I was really, really impressed with the velocities you got out of the 45 Colt with 40 grains of 777 in a 4 and 5/8 barrel. I was really impressed with that. But I still use it. That's about here in Michigan. 777 is the easiest black powder substitute to find. I can find that even quicker than I can find Pyrodex. I think every muzzle loading deer hunting up here, every muzzle loader, every deer hunter that muzzleload hunts, I believe they use 777 or something because that stuff is everywhere. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. You doing all them videos with that chronograph making me want to get one. And man, some of the stuff you've loaded with black powder, like the 3030 and stuff. I mean, things I would have never even thought of. I mean, to me, black powder was only for 45 Colt, 4570, and maybe a couple other straight walled cartridges like 38 or even 357. But I mean, you've done bottleneck cartridges with black powder, and then the amount of black powder that you've tested that you've made different types. Yeah, you definitely. If I have any black powder questions, I go to you or it's just I'm a jack all trades, master of none. I like to play with guns. I like all kinds of guns, and but there's people that actually know what they're doing. Like when it comes to these big bore handguns and how far you can push them and stuff, I like going to Plowboy. If I want to know the history on old guns, I like to talk to the 11 Bang Bang boys. And if there's anything black powder I want to know, everything black powder is definitely the guy to talk to. Yeah, Steven sees it too. Then 777 is like, you know, he's or at least I'm thinking. It sounds like, unless I'm reading the comment wrong, that that's real common up there where he's at too. But I do like 777. Um, I just find that anytime I shoot any kind of black powder or black powder substitute, the amount of time I got to spend to clean up the gun afterwards so my guns don't rust and that. For me, it's hard to have, if I take three or four of them out, it's hard for me to make enough time to clean them properly. And that's why I mostly do smokeless, you know, um, videos because it's just, I went from when I was younger, I had four kids. And then I thought when they all grew, man, I'm going to have so much time. Well, now they've all but the youngest daughter have kids. And when you got six grandkids and you're trying to squeeze in time for all of them, time's more limited now than when I was younger. That, and I'm getting older, and I need more than 2 hours or 3 hours sleep a night now as I've gotten older. I will say though, on them combination guns like the drillings and that, you don't want to be loading them things up hot. And I'll show that in the video. But the barrels are so thin on the rifle barrels that there's no way I would try hopping up any loads. Now on that Cape gun that I got, and I can't remember who made that one now off the top of my head, but it was made over in Europe, but it was made Henry Piper's who made it. It was made to be sold at the through like Sears and Montgomery Wards and that, and so they built it up probably to the American market. The barrel's really heavily built on the rifle barrel, and it's a 12 gauge. Almost all Cape guns that run across in drillings are almost always 16 gauge with some kind of metric like 8 millimeter rimmed or 9.3 by 72R or 74R um, rifle calibers or metric rifle calibers, European rifle calibers. That Henry Piper is actually chambered in 38-55 and 12 gauge because back when that thing was made, them were two really, really popular calibers here in the United States, and it was built up heavier. I actually, a lot of times when I shoot that 38-55, I crank them loads up to 375 Winchester levels, and that gun is built so solid and so. When you hold my um, um, my European Cape gun, the Winkler, Joseph Winkler Cape gun, in one hand and hold the Henry Piper Cape gun in the other hand, the Henry Piper weighs probably, I might even weigh him on a scale, but I'll bet you that thing weighs 3 to 4 times as much as the Joseph Winkler, because the Joseph Winkler was built for the European cartridges. It was built over there, and them things were built to be super light. I could carry around that drilling, which is a side by side double barrel with the 9.3 by 72R rifle barrel underneath, three barreled gun, or that Joseph Winkler Cape gun, which is 16 gauge and 9.3 by 72R. You could carry that thing all day going up and down mountains and it wouldn't wear you out. You know, it's just, I can't believe how incredibly light them European combination guns are. So now you guys got me in the mood to do a video on them. I'm definitely going to do a video on them next weekend so I can have a lot better information to do the video, in the video. And I'm going to try and get some more close up video where you can see the engraving on them and stuff like that real good. Um, I do need to finish up the 4570 double rifle. That one's not going to be shot because as I was looking into it, there's a big crack in the stock in the wrist. And although I can, like on that one Remington Model 10, I think it was, I was able to find a stock and do some inletting and get it to fit. I am not a guy that can make stocks, and I don't think that gun is safe to shoot with that wrist broke on there in the way that it was fixed in that. So that's, but I do need to get that finished up. And then when I do that one, I need to rechamber the 416 Taylor double rifle. I'm going to rechamber that to 416 Rigby. So whenever, hopefully sometime this summer, I get that done, I'm going to do a video on that. And then, yes, the Model 10 functions well. The only problem I have with it is I think it's getting a little bit worn out on the inside. That Model 10 will slam fire. If you hold the trigger and rack it forward, it will fire. Well, when you're racking that thing, if you don't take it all the way down, if you kind of short stroke it a little bit, you'll short stroke it enough to kick a shell out and pick one up, and when it chambers, it will go off. So it's kind of, it works very well, but it's kind of a dangerous gun because I got to figure out, I've had it apart half a dozen times, and I cannot see what is, what's worn that's making it where you got to really, I mean, you got to make sure it goes all the way back, slide goes all the way back, because if you short stroke it even by a quarter of an inch, it's going to go off when you close a chamber. So yeah, I mean, I've shot it a lot. I just wouldn't, for home defense, I guess it's fine. Under stress, you're going to be pointing it at the door and just racking it, so it doesn't matter or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it just scares me the fact that if you short stroke it, it will go off. I've had two Model 10s. I had one years ago, and I didn't like it because of the fact that um, it fed and ejected out the bottom, and I wasn't used to that. I just didn't like it. To me, the gun looked wrong. It didn't have an ejection port on it. I was young when I had it, And that gun was in mint condition. It looked like it had never been shot. It was very reliable. Um, it just, I don't know. I traded it off or sold it off to get something else, I'm sure. Then as I got older, I just, I go through the penny auctions on Gunbroker, and 90% of the time I never win, but I just find something that's interesting or whatever, and I'll bid, on it. And I bid on that Remington Model 10, and I got it stupid cheap, like I did that Rossi R92. So I was like, well, I'm gonna put it back together. It's beat up in rough shape anyway. Like I said, it functions fine and it's reliable. It fires every time. It's just you can't short stroke it. If you short stroke it, it will go off, and that scares me now. It doesn't go off like if you're, if I put a just rack it with no ammo in it and slam it down or anything like that, it doesn't go off. If as long as it you don't short stroke it, when that striker is back, it doesn't go off by dropping it. It doesn't go off by anything other than pulling the trigger. And I will say the safety on it, you have to really make sure you push the safety hard, because if you just push it like you would a normal safety and it's not quite all the way in, it will go off if you pull the trigger. You can actually watch the safety jump back forward when you pull the trigger instead of stopping the trigger from pulling. Yeah, Ithaca does that bottom eject too. And like I said, as a kid, um, I was way more into the Mossbergs with the um, synthetic stocks and pistol grips and all that stuff. So old stuff like the Ithaca or that Remington Model 10. Just, I mean, I liked them, and if I would have had more money when I was younger, I would have kept them. But I mean, I started my family off young as a teenager, and so I didn't have a lot of money. I mean, if I wanted a gun, usually I had to sell something or trade something to get something else. And back in them days, I did love the cowboy guns, but I was all my buddies were shooting the modern military, ARs and Glocks and stuff like that, and I wanted what they had. And then as I got older, I learned to appreciate the older stuff way more. Now I'm all about. I could care less about. I don't hate Glock. I know I joke around and dog the hell out of Glock and this and that. I don't hate Glock. They just don't do nothing for me. I know they're dependable. I know they're reliable, but they just don't excite me. I mean, I've many a times I've went to buy a gun, and I've thought about buying a Glock just because that's a gun you can just leave it in the truck. You're not gonna feel bad if it gets scratched up underneath the seat or whatever. And then I always find something else I want more. That drilling, when I bought that drilling, I was actually going to buy an M1A, the civilian model M14. But hey, Michael, how you doing? I'm doing good. Um, but then I was on Gunbroker looking for an M1A civilian M14 and ran across that drilling, and it was just like, nah, I gotta have that drilling. And I mean, I got that drilling for probably a third of what one would cost, and it was still as much as an M1A or an M14, civilian model. M1A is what the civilian model M14 is. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. So for me, it's just, when I was younger, I wanted to have that AR-15, and them things were stupid expensive when I was in my 20s. I wanted to have the AKs. I wanted to have the SIGs. I wanted to have the Glocks. I wanted to have even 1911s really weren't that cool with my buddies. I mean, they all had Glocks. They thought the 1911 was a FUD gun. Now the 1911's kind of coming back around in popularity. Beretta 92s were big when I was in my 20s. Everybody wanted a Beretta 92. And so, like I said, I didn't have a lot of money. I sold a lot of really cool old guns so I could buy something modern. And now I'm like, I just like the really cool old guns. Slant six. You have one of them Taurus judges. Um, is it fairly an accurate gun with that long chamber when you shoot 45 Colt in it? How's the 410 accuracy? Man, I wish you lived close to me. I'm in southeast Michigan. I would meet up with you just because I would like to do a video on that. Yeah, I would regret selling that too, Hillbilly. Them Colts are worth a fortune now. Accurate for social work. Yeah, I haven't had the opportunity to ever shoot one, and I've thought that it's a pretty cool looking gun. I mean, the cylinder looks a little bit long, but the idea of it shooting a 410 shotgun shell and a 45 Colt, um, it just sounds really cool. But I have no clue, like for the price of them, would if they're any good? Because I people ask me all the time what I think of them, and I'm just like I don't know. I mean, with that long cylinder, before the 45 Colt ever contacts rifling and that, I just don't know how accurate they would be. Past 15, 20 feet. You know, but it's cool that you have one because you know like I said, for up close and personal self defense, I think anything will work. I mean, a 410 Derringer, 45 Derringer, or a 357 or a 38 Derringer, all the way up to a Glock or anything else. I mean, at 20 feet or closer, I think just about any kind of gun or any kind of bullet combination is going to get the job done. I've talked about that before. I'm a revolver guy, and you see all these videos, the Glock guys dogging revolver guys and that, and I'm like, you know, 357 and 44 special and 38s. I mean, they were getting the job done in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s and that. If they could get the job done then, I believe they could get the job done now. I mean, and I don't. I'm not John Wick. I'm not trying to pretend to be John Wick. I can't even shoot like John Wick. So, and in 22, 23 years of carrying, I've never even needed to fire it once. So I don't. For me, I don't see the need to carry two 17 round mags and all that. I just That's just me. Maybe you live in a different area. Maybe somebody else lives in a different area where they feel they need that. But I'm perfectly fine every day carrying around a 5-shot revolver. I don't lose no sleep about it, and I don't fret over it. So yeah, I haven't. The only um, I don't. I don't ever see them Taurus judges or the public defenders ever used. So people must like them because if a gun's not popular, you find a lot of used ones like at the gun show or gun stores and that. It's like Beretta 92s. You might see some if it, like back when in the 90s when the police departments were carrying Beretta 92s and then they switched to Glock or something. You might see a bunch of them in the stores used then because they were police trade ins or the police department sold them to the gun shops or something. But them Tauruses must be popular, them judges, because I don't ever see them used. It seems like people that have them like them and they keep them. So I'm assuming they can't be completely terrible because people just don't get rid of them. It's like you don't see Colt Anacondas used anywhere around me. Colt Detective Specials, anything Colt that's old from you just don't find them used. I've got a Colt Detective Special. I never shoot. I keep saying I need to sell it, but I really do. I need to sell. I don't know. I'm kind of like, man, if I get rid of that, it's gonna be really hard to replace another one. Yeah, I never did think about that slant six. You could use everything from 454 Casull to 45 Colt Cowboy Special because they're all 45 caliber, just longer and shorter. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. Um, I don't know, but I thought they made that public defender in 4570 too, didn't they? Did they make one in 4570, 410? And no, they 4570 is a bigger. It's a 458 bullet. So no, I doubt they would have made one in 45 Colt. Um, I know they make the public defender in 454 Casull, 45 Colt 410 because I've actually looked at brand new ones and I just wasn't sure how good it was going to be if it would be worth the money for that gun. Yeah, Ronald, I like I said when I was younger, I used to have to sell guns to buy other guns. I don't get rid of guns. I just don't. Even I don't buy guns that I don't want, and so if I wanted them now, I'm gonna probably want them later, and I just don't get rid of guns. Just I just don't see no sense in it myself. I mean, some people can't afford though especially parents that are just starting out in life with house payments and car payments and bills and everything else. I've been there, and sometimes when you have all that the bills and all that responsibility, then you want a new gun, you got to sell an old one. So I totally get that and understand that. Well, it's been a little over an hour, so I think I'm about to get off of here. Um, yes, BFR was what I was thinking of, the 4570. They made a revolver in 4570, and I have thought about getting that a couple times, but that's another one I don't know. I can't justify the expense. I don't really think I would shoot it enough or have a need of enough for it to justify the expense for that gun. Hey, you have a good one, Hillbilly. Yeah, Christopher, sounds like you might have been like me back in the day. I mean, me and my daughter grew up together. I was so young when she was born, my oldest daughter, so money was tight. All right, everybody, have a good night. I appreciate you coming on. Um, I got a little funny video I'm going to try and do tomorrow, and then it'll probably just be a short, but I might come up with an idea for a video this weekend, a little bit longer one. But next weekend, I will do a combination gun video on the drillings and the Cape guns and that. So anyway, I appreciate y'all, and I hope everybody has a great night, and I will see you on the flip side.